By the end of this, I want you to have a clear understanding of what a cookie is. Why does it matter? How it could impact you. Most people see cookies as a pop-up banner that irritates their life. I want you to understand as a technical marketer how a cookie is useful and when it could be harmful. So I'm gonna give you an example first. We'll show you the actual website and I'm gonna run through a real world example with Hello Conversions on our website. My name is JJ Reynolds, founder over at visionlabs.com. If you have any questions about your marketing, feel free to fill out a contact form. We run audits, we help teams build out systems that help generate revenue using your data. All right, let's hop into a diagram. So we have a user. This is you. This is Susan. Hi, Susan. And Susan, you go to the website, helloconversions.com. That website, you then navigate around and you go to the pricing page, right? So you go, hey, homepage, love what you're saying. Let's go to the pricing, see what we're gonna run here. How do you tie those two pages together, right? It might seem simple. You might like to say, hey, this is very easy. We're just gonna be able to know A to B. There's servers and super ninja tactics, but in the actual website, in the browser, in real time, there's not a real simple way of doing that. That is where the cookie was invented. Why it's called a cookie, I don't know. I'm sure someone should know that, but that is what the cookie is. So a cookie allows you to say, hey, this user, they were user ID 123.abc. You'll see them with a dot oftentimes because it's kind of two numbers smashed together, a user ID and the session ID. And that was what creates the session ID. So here, this person is given a cookie. So here, Susan, you now have a nice scrumdiddlydumptious cookie. That cookie, you then go on to helloconversions.com. It is now set. You now have this ID of 123ABC. You then click and go to the next page and you still have that cookie, right? So that keeps happening as you move down the journey, right? Your cookie keeps staying with you. There are cookies that are set to expire at the end of your session, right? As long as you have that browser open, it will persist. It will stay with you. It'll be with you, and you will have that cookie on your journey through a website. There are other types of cookies that are user-based. So they try to identify your device as the user and say, no, whenever you come back, that is on the website. So last thing before I give you a real world example is there are other apps on a website. So we have helloconversions.com, but we might also have other things. We might have a chat, right? A chat widget. We might have video players. We might have other trackers, right? So like, for example, your Facebooks, your Metas, your Googles, etc. We might also have a payment processor. Sometimes payment processors will help you do that because when you buy something, they try to identify, are you a new user in the browser? Long story short. Shopify has a lot of those, for example. So these are other things that can also set cookies, but they set those cookies and give you that cookie and it's on your domain. So it's not to you. So you as Susan don't have this cookie. It is actually set on the actual other website. I'll give you an example here in a second. So just to recap, we have cookies that are given to people and in that device, they either last for the session or a determined amount of time or try to stay with the user as long as possible in that actual browser, right? There are server cookies. We're not talking about that. This is the basic. These are the basic chocolate chip cookies, not no extravagant cookies. The ones that affect the most people. So let me show you what that looks like in the real world. Here we are on helloconversions.com. There is me. There we go. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna inspect the page. You can either right click and hit inspect. I'm a big fan of Command Option I if you are on a Mac. So if you're on a PC, just burn it. You're good to go. Quick interruption here is the Vision Labs DOO data order of operations is out and updated. So get your copy, visionlabs.com/DOO, and download your copy to see where your organization is in the data order of operations. Are you still building your foundations or have you moved up that ladder? Feel free to contact me. Hit reply to those emails and we can get you on the books for an audit of your data order of operations and you can start activating your data faster than ever before. So we have elements, we have the console, we have source, we have network, performance, memory, application, etc., etc. What you're going to look at is your application. You will see here there is cookies, or there are cookies. The cookies here are set on different domains. So here you can see the cookie that is set on helloconversions.com, and you can see all the cookies here. But we also have other cookies that are set. For example, Tela. Tela is the video player that is hosting the actual video that you see on the screen. So they are on the website as well. So you can see all the cookies. So Tela is also setting its own cookies. What are the fields that you need to look for? So here we have a cookie name. So the name of the actual cookie, chocolate chip, butterscotch, you name it. And these can be anything. Sometimes they make sense. Sometimes they have no idea. Like what is a km._AI? No idea. You would want to know what these are, right? I could go look up our documentation, go see our privacy policy. I know we know what these are. I'm just saying for the sake of the example, you might not know exactly what these are. Then there is a value of that cookie. These values could range from a Boolean, which is true or false, to a number such as 1, 2, 3, 4. A lot of privacy cookies like to do that, of like level 1 is consented, level 2 is semi-consented, level 3 is no consent, and number 4 is restricted, for example. There are other cookies that are actually the values. So for example, let's look for GA. So Google Analytics right here says a cookie that's _GA. This is the actual value right here. So GA 1.2.8 there. And this is the combination, again, of the user and the session that come together to create that ID. You then have the domain that it's set on. So these are where you get the idea of first-party and second-party cookies. So here we have first-party cookies. They're set on the domain of Hello Conversions. And then here are the third-party cookies. We have Stripe here as cookies, and then we have Gist, which is our support widget down here. There's also a dot, and that dot is all subdomains. So the subdomains being included will be where you have the dot before. That tells you where it's set, first party or third party. What is the domain of where it's being set? Mind you, that's different than over here. These are other domains that are on the site that are also setting cookies. We then have the path. So you can actually have a path that it is set on. Most of the time, the / is just the entire site. So all of helloconversions.com, there we go. This is all subdomains as well as the domains of helloconversions.com. When will that cookie expire, right? So here is where the expiration date is. And you can see some of these, I'm recording this on May 28th in Pacific time. And you can see here that some of these are gonna expire today. Some are set in the future. Some are set at the furthest out we could possibly do. So 1 year out, I'm not sure that will actually work, but there you go. Then we have the size of the cookie, whether it's HTTP only, so HTTP versus HTTPS, there, whether it's secure, the same site versus what it is, and then you can see all these other fields. So that is what you're gonna use here. And you can actually set cookies and reset cookies at your will. It's really simple, really straightforward to do so. But these are what allow you to navigate between sites. So if I go from here, and let's just look at if we go to pricing, right? So on the pricing page, you'll see a lot of these cookies persisted over. They're trying to tie my user together to the sessions across the sites. That is exactly what you're supposed to do, right? You're trying to tie all these together, and that's what the cookie is used for. So this value is meant to tie those together. Let's go to a website that has a cookie banner. Let's just look at something, for example, let's look at True Classic Tees. Okay, I'm gonna click on an ad of theirs, and here we are. We are in True Classic Tees, and oh, they don't even have a cookie banner. Let's see if we delete everything, what happens. So if you ever wanna clear your cookies, right, you can always come over here, True Classic, and we can select all, or click one, hold shift, and as you can see, some sites have more, some sites have left, hit delete on these. You can also just delete them one by one if you want to. You can hit shift or hit command. There are lots of ways to do that. You can also just right click over here, hit clear, and it should clear them all. There we go. So now we have no cookies. It will reset all the ones that are automatic. So let's refresh the page, and no cookie banner. Okay, let's just take a look at this and see what happens. So here, if you open up the cookies, you can see all of the different values that are being set, right? So they have, you can oftentimes see what type of technologies they're using. We have Recart, we've got Google, we've got TrueClassicTees.com, Google Analytics, so Google Analytics, and all the other pieces. So here you can see the combination of first party versus third party cookies, and we can probably see exactly what they are trying to use. So this is how cookies are used. And when people say, hey, these are dangerous, someone's stopping cookies. Cookies are very important to the internet working and how it's currently constructed. Most browsers, most everything uses a cookie to navigate the website. It loads content for you. It keeps you logged in so that you know that you're logged in whenever you navigate throughout a website. That is how it knows, for the most part, that you are a paying user, is you are logged in. So back to our identifier here. Let's make one final example, because this is the example that goes over with most people, is that when you log into a website, so let's just take this exact same example, we'll copy it and we'll paste it down here. You go to a website, let's just say you go to our website and you're a lab member, and you log in. All right, so you go in and you're at visionlabs.com, right? And you've logged in to our actual lab membership, right? What will happen is on that next page, right, when you're now in the actual, you're taking courses, you're doing all the things, in here, you want all of your pages and all of your sessions to be tied together, right? You don't want to have to log in after every single page. And that is the beauty of the cookie, right? Is that your cookie, let's add our cookie back, ties all of these together. It stays with you and it keeps you logged into the website. And so that's the idea of a functional cookie, is what you say, hey, this is what is just how the application works. When you see a lot of privacy, a lot of things like that, that's where you start entering into other tracking cookies and other types of identifier cookies. But at the end of the day, the majority of cookies on the internet are functional. They try to make your experience better on the internet. So hopefully this has given you some examples, given you some use cases of how cookies work, of what they're trying to do. 99% of the time, it's not an issue for you. You should not be in cookie land. You should be using tools the way that they're intended to be used. And then you can add on privacy policies or things to limit those cookies being set by third-party tools or yourself if you want to have that within your organization.